Okay, I will start with how COVID was firstly detected in the world. Since 20 December 2019, an incident of an unknown acute respiratory tract disease has been detected in Wuhan City, Hubei Province, China. The infection of the disease originated from the Hunan, South China seafood market. On January 7, 2020, scientists have detected a virus from an infected victim. Some of the viruses exist with a genetic similarity of 96.3% with the Yunnan-based coronavirus ATG13, and homologically, there are similarities with the coronavirus of the severe acute respiratory syndrome SARS-CoV. On January 12, 2020, the World Health Organization (WHO) has announced that the cause of the epidemic is a novel coronavirus found in 2019 or SARS-CoV-2 and have named the disease coronavirus disease 2019. However, the origin of the disease is still a question mark. On 12 March 2020, the epidemic was classified as a pandemic by the WHO by a rapid spread to all over the world, including South Korea, Thailand, Singapore, Japan, Italy, Iran, Spain, the US, and UK. So, I'll continue with the COVID-19 in the Malaysia. On 25 January 2020, the first case of COVID-19 in our country used 3 confirmed Chinese nationals as close contact with 1 confirmed positive in Singapore. They were treated at the Sungai Buloh Hospital, Selangor. On February 4, 2020, a 41-year-old male was confirmed positive for coronavirus by the MOHD. The victim had a travel record from the country of Singapore on 16 to 23 January and on 29 January obtained in a private hospital. On March 12, 2020, the first sporadic case of COVID-19 was detected per victim not travelling overseas or in contact with any symptomatic individual. In March 2020, the number of reported COVID-19 cases grew relatively slowly until a religious event took place at Sri Petaling, Kuala Lumpur, which led to an exponential rise in cases.
There's no denying that school children are also affected by COVID-19. There are also COVID patients who fill hospital beds. According to the Minister of Health, Dr. Adam Baba has said that over 23,000 students under the age of 12 have been infected with COVID-19 this year. These data show how easily cases are transmitted in school because of contact and communication between school children. As a result, they face limited social interaction. Malaysia's school children were barely in school for 3 months when school was shuttered following the enforcement of MCO on March 18. As we know, children are particularly cheerful, love to mingle and play with friends. However, this pandemic drastically limited their interaction with their friends. In addition, not getting formal interaction in school can result illiteracy among students. Learning through online classes for this school children can affect concentration and also affect focus, especially children who do not have adequate access such as gadget, internet, computer, printer, and so on. This problem make children at this age also suffer from stress and also depression. This is because the acceptance of the new norm is also not easy for school children.
Now I will explain about the MCO, Malaysia Government Movement Control Order. MCO is a series of national quarantine measures implemented by the federal government of Malaysia in the response to the COVID-19 pandemic in the country starting March 18, 2020, which is announced by the former Prime Minister of Malaysia, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin. Now I will explain about the SOP in MCO 1.0. SOP number 1 is generally providing all the mass movement and gathering across the country. SOP number 2 is sanctioning covering all the Malaysian travelling abroad. SOP number 3 is restricted on the inter of all tourists and forest visitors into the country. SOP number 4 is closure all the kindergarten, government and private school. SOP number 5 is closure all the public and private higher education institute IPT, and close all skill training institute network. SOP number 6 is closure all the government and private premise except those involved in essential service. Sekarang saya akan menerangkan mengenai SOP yang dikenakan kepada individu di Malaysia. SOP yang pertama adalah social distancing atau penjagaan penjarakan sosial 1 meter antara satu sama lain. SOP yang kedua ialah larangan lintas negeri dan daerah yang hanya dibenarkan kepada keperluan cemasan sahaja. SOP yang ketiga adalah larangan aktiviti sosial. SOP yang keempat adalah larangan aktiviti sukan dan rekreasi yang melibatkan kawasan umum. SOP yang kelima adalah penutupan institusi pendidikan. Aktiviti pembelajaran hanya dilakukan dalam talian sahaja. SOP yang keenam ialah bilangan orang dalam kenderaan adalah 1 orang sahaja. SOP yang ketujuh ialah kawalan pergerakan 10 km dari kawasan rumah. SOP yang ke-8 adalah diwajibkan untuk check-in di setiap premis yang dimasuki menggunakan MySejahtera. SOP yang ke-9 adalah larangan aktiviti keagamaan. SOP yang ke-10 ialah sentiasa memakai penutup muka di kawasan umum. Kegagalan mematuhi peraturan-peraturan atau SOP ini akan dikenakan tindakan undang-undang, dan yang paling terbaru pada 2021 akan dikenakan denda sebanyak RM1,500 jika melanggar salah satu SOP yang diperkatakan ini.
Next, I'll be talking about the movement control order, specifically about the MCO and the enhanced MCO (EMCO). So MCO, commonly known as the nationwide lockdown, meanwhile the enhanced MCO is the strictest MCO, also known as the total lockdown. In MCO, only essential services and businesses are allowed to operate. Meanwhile, in EMCO, all economic sectors are shut down. Shutting down of businesses operation and its impact toward the Malaysian economy. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, DOSM, in 2019, small and medium enterprise SME form a vital component of the Malaysian economy, contributing more than a third of the total gross domestic product (GDP). It also provides jobs to more than 7 million workers. International Monetary Fund (IMF) projects that global growth in 2020 would experience the worst recession since the Great Depression in 1930s and far worse than 2009 global financial crisis. The crisis is mainly caused by the movement control, lockdowns and physical distancing measures implementing globally to contain the spread of the virus. In Malaysia, the impact of the demand cutbacks and supply chain disruption on cash flow, employment and sustainability are the main challenges for most businesses, in particular the SME. As the backbone of the country's economy, government has introduced various initiatives including soft loans, grants, wage subsidy, tax exemption and moratorium to support SME, which I believe that my team members will explain further about it.
The country is now in the 5th stage of revitalism. stage of the 6R Comprehensive Economic Recovery Plan: Resolve, Resilience, Restart, Recovery, Revitalise and Reform. The Revitalise stage started with the launch of Budget 2021 Initiative on 17 March 2021. Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister announced a further stimulus package named Pemberkasan worth 20 billion to stimulate a jump start the economy. First, Special Grant 3.0 or Grant Kas Prihatin 3.0 RM500 one-off for SME. Second, Income Loss Assistance one-off 500 for B40. Third, Duty Exemption. Fourth, Small Project. Fifth, Vaccination. Sixth, Project Penjana Kerjaya 2.0. 7, E-Belia. In credit improved from 100 to 150. 8, Free SSM Register. 9, Handphone Subsidy. 10, Prihatin Kasih. 11, SME Assistance. 12, Tax Deduction. Malaysia government has introduced its latest economic stimulus package, Pemberkasan Plus, worth 40 billion, as a response to the national lockdown measures which were enforced from 1 June 2021. Pemberkasan Plus will focus on three aspects: increase public healthcare capacity, continuing welfare program, and supporting business. First, special grant has been increased from RM1,000 to RM1,500. Second, targeted loan moratorium and repayment. Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) has increased the allocation under the Targeted Relief and Recovery Facility by 2 billion to 5 billion and the SME Automation and Digitalization Facility by 700 million to 1 billion. Third, Bantuan Prihatin BPR. Fourth, tax relief for rental discount for business premise. Small and medium enterprise that cannot operate during the full lockdown have a choice of a 3-month loan moratorium or 6 months of 50% reduced loan repayment.
First and foremost is package pemulihan rakyat perlindungan ekonomi, which is its name is Pemulih, with three key strategy. Firstly is to help the people for the well-being. Second, to help the economy grow by supporting the business. And third, by the recovery of COVID vaccination. And the strategies accounting for 150 billion ringgit. So the next slide, I want to talk about the Pemulih initiative. The key factors including the first one is Bantuan Khas COVID, accounting for 4.6 billion ringgit and benefits the 11 million household. The second one is program Upah Subsidi 4.0 for the employer up to 500 employee at 6 ringgit up to 4 months. The third one key factor is the moratorium up to 6 months without the terms and conditions. The last one is the digitalization of SMEs and up to 5k ringgit grant. The last slide I want to talk about is the Prihatin Rakyat package, which is different from the Pemulih. This Prihatin package is accounting for 250 billion ringgit and up to 3 factor strategies. The first and foremost key factors is to help the well-being of the people, and the second one is to boosting the economy, and the third one is to lower the COVID risk and to keep the nation prosperous.
For the next part, I'll be presenting on the impacts of COVID-19 on Malaysian economy. So the first impact that we can see what COVID-19 has caused our Malaysian economy is that it had contributed to the high unemployment rate in Malaysia currently. In 2019, we can see that the unemployment rate is actually 3.3%. But in May 2020, it has increased drastically to 5.3%, causing a bad negative trend in labor demand. So how can COVID-19 possibly be the cause for high unemployment rate? We can see that government have enforced movement control order MCO to curb the spread of COVID-19. So Enforcing MCO has caused many companies, factories, firms, even hotels to cease their operation and also shut down their business, causing them to retrench many of the staffs and also employees to ensure that they do not need to pay so much cost during the ceasing operation phase. So this has caused the high unemployment rate in Malaysia because many of the employees are being retrenched. Second impact we can see is the depreciation of Ringgit Malaysia against US dollar. In 2019, we can see that Malaysia's exchange rate in 2019 is 4 ringgit 8 cent in exchange for $1 US. But in July 2020, it depreciated to 4 ringgit and 26 cents in exchange for $1 US. So we can see that our ringgit Malaysia is getting weaker and weaker, and also COVID-19 has caused a big impact towards our ringgit Malaysia. So the weaker exchange rate, especially in ringgit Malaysia, we can see that it affects the purchasing power among Malaysians and also causing the living standard to be lower. Not only individual, it also affects the manufacturing sector, where depreciation of ringgit Malaysia has caused cost push inflation, which causing the raw materials or the price of the raw materials to increase drastically and also affects the manufacturing process. The third and visible impact that we can see is the pause in tourism sector. We all know Malaysia is very known for its tourism sector as one of the sector which boosts the economy. But due to MCO and also certain SOPs that were enforced by government, we can see that tourism has been put into a pause where interstate, interdistrict, international or even domestic tourism has stopped to curb the spread of COVID-19 disease in Malaysia. So when tourism sector has been put into a pause, we can see that the number of tourists coming to Malaysia has drastically decreased, which actually gives a bad impact to Malaysian tourism sector. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Impact of COVID-19 towards social. First is education. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic caused the government to implement online learning programs due to the closure of higher education institutions and schools. Online learning is learning based on digital media technology whose lesson materials are sent through the electronic gadget. There are various applications or suitable digital platforms that can be used, such as WhatsApp, Google Classroom, Zoom, Webex, YouTube, and so on. This is because, according to the government, online learning is evaluated as the most effective and efficient way to do learning in the midst of current pandemic. Second, the impact on health. COVID-19 pandemic has a huge impact on the mental health of every individual around the world, and Malaysians are no exception. Some individuals are at high risk for mental health problems, including depression. If this problem fails to be identified and treated properly, it can increase the risk of suicidal behavior. According to the World Health Organization (WHO), there's a link between the pandemic and extreme levels of stress and anxiety. For example, stress that are related to the issue of unemployment, financial problems, and the loss of their beloved one. And the last one is lifestyle. The COVID-19 pandemic not only treated lives and health levels, but completely changed the way of and lifestyle of people around the world. Although the threat of this epidemic is not over, but the daily lives of community members have begun to change little by little. Among the most significant changes that are being experienced by members of our society is from the aspect of healthcare and personal hygiene. If all this time the majority of us did not really care about the need to maintain personal hygiene, now it is no longer an option. This epidemic add-ons make us aware of how healthcare and hygiene practices cannot be neglected. Now, the practice of washing hands regularly, using hand sanitizers, Wearing a nose and mouth mask as well as the practice of social distancing is beginning to become our new way of life and thus become a turning point that we cannot ignore.
First is about the changes in status from pandemic to endemic in October 2021. Many countries have already accepted that fact that this COVID-19 pandemic will never end completely. It will become endemic. That is, it is a disease that will continue to exist in society. Humans need to continue living with the COVID-19 virus under controlled conditions. For example, Singapore, which also managed to control the COVID-19 epidemic with a comprehensive immunization program, suddenly faced a case of infection with some undetected cause. Therefore, Malaysia also envisions that this epidemic will become endemic. According to Head Ministry HAIRIE, Malaysia will enter an endemic state this October. Life will never be able to return like in 2019. In the further, people will continue to need to do full vaccinations. SOPs still need to be taken care of and many things that were done during the pre-COVID-19 era will never be possible again. Pandemic means an epidemic whose infection spreads across national borders. Endemic, on the other hand, means an epidemic condition that is always present. This is a disease that cannot be completely eradicated. If we look at nature, the phenomenon of a pandemic turning into an endemic is something that can be understood. It is true that the old epidemics are finally over as well, but not all are so. The effect of it remain and the form are varied. Next is about will Malaysia succeed and what is needed to succeed. New variants were also detected, not only Delta and Beta variants but also the latest is Mu. So what preparation need to be made to deal with COVID-19 endemic? The best way for the public is to understand what is announced by the Health Ministry and abide by the instruction of the National Security Council. At the world level, of course, the best information still comes from the WHO. However, for those who are able to understand with an open and balanced mind, they can follow different information and views from various sources. But it needs to be met with the awareness that there is a lot of false information in the virtual world, especially from those who are fans of anti-science theory, pseudoscience and conspiracy theory. The second thing in dealing with the COVID-19 endemic is one's mental preparation. The awareness that needs to be there is the fact that the world cannot go back to the pre-COVID-19 era. Once it comes and the world economy will not return as before. 2 years, 2020 and 2021, have affected the movement of the world economy, the country and the person. Sectors such as transportation, tourism and everything related to it are bound to change. This means that all this time the hope that the situation will recover leads to a person waiting and enduring to rise again is only suitable for a pandemic. But it is not suitable for endemic. Further, in the endemic, there will be booster injection, third dose, and so on. But this endemic suggests the world conditions are under the shadow of the ongoing COVID-19 threat. In endemic, the government must allocate more to the health ministry to constantly deal with COVID-19. There may even be hospitals that are reserved for patients with this virus permanently. This means that allocation for other things had to be reduced. As for health provision, attention to other diseases had to be reduced to shift to COVID-19 permanently. Many other things need to be done to deal with situation where this pandemic is turning into endemic, from education to religious and social activities that will also change.
Hi, I'm HAIRIE. I like this Malaysian economic course because I gain the new knowledge of how changes have taken place in our country's economy before from independence until now. I learned a lot in this course, especially how to find authentic data from our website.
I am Nur ASHILA. What I like about this course is it make me more understand about the global economy, and what I learned from this course is how to get a data from a trusted resource.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is SITI NABILAH binti BURUHANUDEEN. I like this course because it gives me a clear and detailed view of Malaysian economy and how to make an accurate comparative.
Hello, my name is LOGHA RAMAKRISHNAN. I like this course, Malaysian Economy, because I find this course very useful, especially when the students are actually majoring in economics. So I find it very useful because this is a very good opportunity and also chance for us to get to know how does our own country's economy works. So thank you very much for giving us this opportunity, and thank you to Dr. too.
My expectation for this subject is really good. You did not just teach us about the syllabus, but more than that, such as how to find a genuine website in economics.
Hi, good morning. My name is Muhammad FARID bin MANSYUR, and I like this course because it teaches me a wider perspective of economy and also how a government should do and what shouldn't do to a nation to keep the economy prosperous. Also, the people and the society of one's country have to build together to a stronger economy.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Helmi. What I can learn from this course is that I can understand about the various economic history that the country of Malaysia went through. And I can also understand about the economic sectors that in Malaysia.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Azlan. I like this course because this course will give me a more knowledge and a new knowledge about the GDP and how the government get the income and how they use it. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is MASYFU AMIRUL bin MOHAMED with matrix number A167529. What I like about this course is it enlightened me about the Malaysian economy structure, and for the technical part, it teaches me how to find a reliable real-time data such as Department of Statistics Malaysia DSSM.